Welcome to this BEC podcast. My name is Rasmus Beck, and I'm very delighted to welcome Henrik Axelsen. Not that often that we have non-players in the studio. Henrik, manager, and also that, of course, to this guy, Victor Axelsen, the former World Championship winner from Denmark. And Henrik, we're going to talk a bit about this being a manager, being an agent in the sport of badminton. 10 years ago, we didn't see a lot of managers. What has changed?
I think that one of the things is that Victor and I talked a lot about it because we've seen what other sports did at that time, and now we are just trying to cooperate in a more professional way. Because being a dad, you grow up with your kids, run around to sports and all that. But in 2010, I think it was, when Victor won the World Championship for youngsters, then we actually were trying to get a new setup. We got a new advisory board around us, and we took our accountants with us, and then suddenly we were just there.
But the whole thing about being a dad, being an agent, there must be some conflicts along the way, I guess. Well, what can the conflicts be about?
It could be about everything. I mean, the thing is about being a manager is great, but being a professional manager is even more great, I think, because then you don't have any feelings around. You just actually go for the more professional business, and you go for sponsorships, and you make the deals, and you get some kind of setup where you only talk business. Now we are also talking family-related things, and you are more sensitive, and you are more have all your feelings around about all the different things. But to me, as I always discuss with Victor too, is that if you sum up all these things, I still feel that the best thing in badminton for me to see is that it's good to have both parts with you. Otherwise, you would get more only focused on the money side. And if you're only focused on the money side, with badminton things coming along now with more money in it and more professional stuff around it, then I feel it's getting harder if you only go for the money side, because we have a lot of things that still goes for the feelings in badminton and go for the amateur ways of thinking, which is very great and somehow, but I would be very afraid of only having professional managers around still, but it will be there for sure.
Is it easier for you to be manager, you think, for Victor Axelsen than for some of the other players we can see around here, Caroline Møn, for instance, because you have this personal relationship to Victor?
I think there's both good stuff and bad stuff about it, but what I feel is, to me at the moment, we always say, well, there's some of the other players have asked me about if I could help them or so, and I just said no, because to me it's more the father stuff that would come into this business instead of the professional ways of being a manager, because doing business for the other ones could be great, but that will be another setup for me and another mindset for me, and I don't think at the moment I don't have the guts to go for it.
Henrik, please try to enlighten us a bit. What is the work that you are actually doing as the manager for Victor Axelsen?
If I have a very
a
very long list, but the thing is, to me, it's about, first of all, it's about the sponsorships with the different. First of all, it's about the racket deals, about who to talk to and which one to deal with and cooperate with, and take the day by day things with different stuff and discuss stuff and do some reporting back to have some low key things about the day by day things until you go up to make deals with them and renew your contract and stuff like that. And the other thing would be taking part of the different leagues around the world that's coming up now, doing business with these guys too, but still doing it like Victor would do it if it was himself. And I think that's one of the reasons that we still can do good stuff around it, is that I do it like Victor would do it if it was on his own behalf that he would be working and dealing with these guys. I just look a lot fatter and older, but still I think that one of our good things about it, there's a lot of others, maybe not that good stuff, but still one of the things is that we could actually do it in the family way, and if someone would like that and someone would hate that, but I still feel that there's more positive things about it. But again, from looking at my perspective, is that there's a lot of things to do still, and I'm having a hard time finding out when to stop, because then we do some buying them stuff, apartments and housing and whatever, and I'm still involved with that too. But that has nothing to do about my manager. That's more about my father job itself. So it's a very long list of a lot of different things and a lot of different funny stuff, talking to people, meeting up with people and so on, but great.
Would you say that Victor is a better player because he has a manager like you? Of course, you're also his dad, but that he doesn't need to think about the business things?
I was talking some years ago. I was talking to one of the professional swimmers, and I've been talking to some of the badminton players and so on, and they are crying for help because what the thing is, I feel in Denmark is that it's not that common to spend money on your own setup. You're used to having a good federation behind you, and that's about it. Now we'll see that some of the sports that actually broke out of that stuff, like tennis and golf and Formula One or so, they are in another area and totally other mindset now and another business for sure. But still, about the other sports, you would hopefully see that some of the athletes would actually think about it would cost you money to get money. I mean, you have to invest in that, and Victor also have to invest a lot of money in his setup now. If he would be there without me, I don't know. I hope not. If I should be honest, I hope not. Not because of me or because of Victor, but because also to show the other players that you actually have to invest some things in your new setup if you want to go further on. And another thing is, for me to also talk to some of the other players, is if you could only focus on your sport, that could be the best. For me, looking at, if I was an athlete, I would say, well, I can only focus on that. That's great, because that's what I'm here for.
But you're saying making a new setup, should that be an addition to the setup that they already have as a player, or should they go another direction? Because that will definitely cost something for the players, first of all. It might not be all players who have that amount of money. But they will also mean that some of the federation might be struggling to have players on the national training centers, for instance.
Yeah, I don't know about how you actually should do stuff like that. But what I feel is that we have to think a little more professional of how to look at it, because sometimes you have to see if an athlete is very good and is very strong in their sport. They have to have that mindset that it cost me something to get further on with sponsorships and so on. And today, for instance, I paid a lot of money to register Victor's name and his signature and his new logo and so on, and that will cost maybe 100,000 Danish kroner or more just to register that in Europe. That's maybe more than some of the other players even get a year. But how is it? It's a lot of things and a lot of issues to take care of, because if you focus on your sport, you get better, then you can get better contracts. Or if you're not focused on, then you have to deal with a lot of things, day by day things. And does that take focus out of your sport?
From a commercial point of view, Henrik, there's no doubt that Victor and Carolina Marin might be the two biggest names at the moment from a European perspective regarding commercial value. Winning that World Championship gold medal compared to the Olympic bronze medal that Victor won in Rio, which medal made the biggest impact commercial-wise?
I cannot put specific numbers or amount on that one, but I could still say that in Victor's mind, it's a lot more great or whatever to actually work for, think about his World Championship than the Olympics. But if it was from the Olympics, if that would have been gold, would have been the best for that one. But I cannot say, I can say it in another way. Looking at my mailbox from the Olympics in 16 and looking at my mailbox in 17 World Championships, it's about the same amount of people saying congratulations, or can we have a meeting about future business and blah blah blah. That's about the same. But in Victor's mind, I think it's a lot better with the World Championship, because that's a standalone thing more than the Olympics. I think it depends on which sport you're in, which is the best. But to us, I cannot say that this thing was better business than the other thing. That was about the same.
Do you think that Victor's commercial value has peaked, or is peaking at the moment, or can it go even further?
What I always say about commercial value or so, again, maybe that's more like with my father's heart, but I'm saying I'm even more proud that for instance, I had a meeting yesterday with 20 Chinese people, and these people are actually talking, that's about some charity for children in China, about that's a long story, but they were talking about Victor as a person, but not as a badminton player. And what I say is, maybe we have seen his value peaked in badminton, I don't know, but as a person, we haven't seen it peaked yet. Because his value being a nice guy is a lot greater and a lot more future-wise. Looking at that, it's a lot greater coming on about looking at the person and instead of only looking at the badminton player. So long answer to say which is which and which is biggest and peak, I don't know yet. But I hope not, for sure. But still, we'll see that if you don't have your if you don't have the guts to play just to be focused on the tour, then you won't have any business, because all the spectators and all the sponsors can see if you're not happy there, then you won't have any business.
Thinking about the future, do you expect, as a person, Victor, not the player, do you also expect Victor to be a popular figure around the sport of badminton, or for instance charity, when he turns 40? It's a long time for the future, but do you expect him to grow also as a non-player?
When we make fun of it and during dinner back home, we always talk about if actually for all athletes at that's looking at the future, you would always say, well, one of the guys that did well, that's Beckham from football, right, from soccer. And I feel that if we could make a new Beckham out of Victor in maybe a small scale, that could be great. But things could happen. You can get you get kids, and you get whatever things happen in your life and so on. So you'll never know. But I think that Victor likes the sport so much, so he would like to be around it, and he would like to be around doing good stuff for the kids, because he have a big heart for kids, and that's why we're actually at the moment working at a new setup for Victor, being about charity and setup for kids. That's also about the sport, but also about kids learning how to be like we are in Europe, because there's a lot of Asian people looking at Europe. They know that Asian and Chinese people are very smart, and they come very fast on a lot of perspective, different things and different businesses. But about being a human being, being a nice guy, the Asian people really look at Europe, and that's what I feel that we can make a new setup for Victor on a beside the sport.
Of course, it's a great thing to hear that Victor's also want to get involved in charity work, but it's also regarding his commercial value is not getting lower by also being a good person and also doing something to charity. Have you also have thoughts around that it could also be a good thing for the business of Victor Axelsen also to take time to do volunteer work, to do charity work and so on? Has that been a calculating factor as well?
What I think is very important as an athlete, whoever person it is, that's about being very humble about your person, and that's what people likes. But then people are humble and they are very polite to everyone, and they give themselves the time to say hello to everyone, older kids or whatever, make a signature or autograph or whatever. I feel it's very important, because that's what you're gonna live out of when you're done with your sport. That's that you are a nice guy on the way up. And as we always say in our family, maybe use the expression too much, always think about that you meet the same people on the way up as you meet on the way down. An old expression, but it's still very good to remind the guys about that. Actually, that's how it is. So that's for me, it's very important to tell Victor, it's great that you are good on court, but it's even greater that you are good outside the court. Because that could make the business afterwards. But still, already now he gets some offers about job opportunities in Asia, because they know that, you know, being an athlete, you know how to focus on a job, and that's easy for an athlete to have a job afterwards. I see it.
Henrik, you're also taking care of media relations regarding Victor. That's no secret. You get a lot of inquiries regarding media, I know, but also you get a lot of commercial inquiries. How often do you actually say no on behalf of Victor?
About a month ago, I calculated back 3.5, 4 years back, and I was actually doing it just on top of it, and I calculated and say, well, there were these guys offered this, there were these guys offered this company offered this, and actually in Danish kroner, I said no to about between 7 or 8 million for the past 3.5 years.
It's around 1 million euros.
Yeah. And that's what I said. I said no to that because that was a smaller business there and a smaller business there, and so on, because I wanted Victor to focus on his sport. Because even though you're a small sponsor or you're a big sponsor, you always want a little piece of him or a bigger piece of him. And if you just sell out of your whole setup, and you have to go there for meet and greet, VIPs there, and so on, then you won't focus on your sport, and you would end up being more showman than a sportsman.
But how can you defend for Victor? He might get injured tomorrow.
Exactly.
Never play again. And you say no to 1 million, 1.2 million euros. How can you defend that?
I still feel that it's more important for Victor to come out on the other side of this, being a normal person and not being a person that everyone drags in because of a little bit of money. Because I still feel if you are not there mindset-wise, then you would have a problem. And I can see in Victor when he's tired of things. I can see in Victor when he's done. I can see in Victor that he actually have to very, very push himself up to a big smile if he's not there. And the sponsor would see that immediately, or the media would see it immediately. If you don't have your own heart and your guts with you, then it's no worth of having a sponsorship. So that's why I need Victor to focus. And of course, we still have a very, very close relationship and a very good day-by-day things with Yonex, because Yonex is Victor's main sponsor for all the gear and all that. But they still support him so much. So money-wise, that's great for Victor.
I've known Victor for like 8 years now, since he was kind of small boy. I was also surprised when I heard that he was taking Chinese lessons. Taking the Chinese lessons, of course, made him popular in China. Was that for a commercial point of view, or was that actually something that he was interested in doing because it could be fun to learn Chinese?
He actually took gymnasium in Brøndby, and as a day-by-day course, and they helped him when he was out traveling and so on. One day he called me up and I said, well, Dad, I have a Swedish novel. I have to refer the Swedish novel. I don't know what I actually should use that for in the future. Why not take that a break and then start the Chinese? And I said, go ahead. And one of his his former coaches said to him, if you are playing so much in Asia and learn Chinese, that would give a good future for you. And then he started with some lessons with a Chinese lady married to a Danish guy in Copenhagen, and then it was the institute in Beijing, and now it's just up and running. And last week I was visiting a Danish company, and they actually wanted him to be part of a big advertisement on their online platform for kids clothing and so. And they were actually having their partner in China saying, well, you needed a Scandinavian guy telling about your company, that it's a Scandinavian company, but you have to tell it in Chinese. Find one who could speak Chinese. And then this Danish guy, he was in the meeting in China, he just looked up for Victor's YouTube channel, but he didn't show Victor to them, and he didn't know Victor, these guys. And he just played it so he could hear, these guys, Chinese people could hear his Chinese skills. And they said, well, this is no good because that's a Chinese guy. You needed a Scandinavian guy. So that's actually how Victor is. When he goes for it, he goes for it.
So it was not you forcing him to learn Chinese to give him commercial value?
No, I don't force him to do anything. That's his own. Even when he was little, he just wanted to do stuff by himself. So just go ahead and support him, and that's why he's there.
Henrik, do you think that we will see more agents, managers, call it whatever you like, in the future in the sport of badminton? And what do we need in the sport of badminton to see them maybe also?
what we need, we need, if we really want that, we need more open-mindedness in the sport, because that's what we actually need. And I know that's one of my issues and one of my things to hope for, because if the people or the athletes would actually start to invest a little bit in having a manager, then the surroundings have to be open about it. So that's what I see as the biggest problem.
Henrik, thank you very much for stopping by. It was a great honor to have you,
thank you,
and good luck to you, and of course also to Victor. Thank you very much for watching this BEC podcast. I don't think I need to tell you to go follow Victor on social media, because I'm pretty sure you already do. So you go follow Badminton Europe instead on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or download our new app, Badminton Live, where you can also get live scores, news, and whatever content you like to see. Thank you very much for watching this podcast from Badminton Europe.